Hey everyone, just a reminder that I'll be hosting a screening of The Wraith at the Guild Cinema in Albuquerque, New Mexico on April 18th. Check out the links in the episode description and follow us on Instagram and Blue Sky for ticketing and other information on this event. Enjoy the episode. Tom Noonan died today.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. What a loss, man. That was shocking. I was out at a pinball league meetup, and I'm in the middle of talking to several other, film nerd friends, and then I take a glance at my phone and I see this, and I just had to be like, I gotta break the worst news to a bunch of people that are really gonna care about this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Bud Court like a week ago or a few days ago. So two Heat alumni.
God, that's right.
In the same week.
Yeah, both two Heat guys.
Wow, I completely missed on that. Yeah.
Shit. Well, we gotta keep an eye on Pacino. We gotta keep an eye on Haysbert.
Oh God, not Dennis.
Yeah, it seems like let's tackle the all the side characters first, because that seems to be who is falling at the moment.
Right. Well,
Mr.
at the
Kilmer.
moment.
Yeah, I was gonna say Kilmer and Sizemore.
Yeah. So let's make sure Trejo is secured.
We must protect him at all costs.
Tom Noonan, though, is a returning champion. We did cover him previously on the Monster Squad, right, where he plays Frankenstein, and quite magnificently as well. I had never seen the movie before. I'm going to correct you
because not a lot of people know this, but Frankenstein is actually the doctor, Murph.
Yeah, there you go. Yes. So he is the creature.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Egg all over my face. I actually host a horror movie podcast. You wouldn't believe it.
Yeah. You guys did Manhunter too, right?
We have you not. And we probably will never ever talk about that in the month of March.
I don't know. This may have thrown some wrenches into very episode that was coming up very soon of well, do we have to do Manhunter now? But it's man, I was really excited to talk about my two other picks though. You know what I mean? I had two other ideas where I was like, those are perfect. So maybe we'll work something out. There's plenty of space for Manhunter to fit into a lot of categories ultimately, But I mean, I would love to talk more Noonan in general. I'm shocked we never did House of the Devil for any September. How do we not do that? It's got devil in the name. And it's got Tom Noonan.
Maybe
I was
because
okay with that one.
Not a very good movie. That's probably why.
Okay, whoa. All right, Jesus.
There's a little
Ty West's best movie, probably, but that's not really saying much.
I'm not going to be the guy that goes to bat for Ty West's, honestly. So, that's fine.
I liked X and Pearl. I'll give him that much. I had good experiences watching those.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I remember seeing X in theaters and thinking this is just a very, very generic horror movie, being shocked that it was the big thing for a month and a half, that people couldn't stop talking, and that there were 2 sequels already in the works by the time I left the theater.
I feel like that story overshadows the real actual quality of X. I like X quite a bit, but I do feel like there was more excitement around the fact that it's and we shot the sequel literally by the time we finished production of the first one or whatever it was, 2 weeks later or something. But to get back to Noonan, we have so many more opportunities for him though. I know people really love him in Last Action Hero, which he is really good in that. I don't really like that movie, but his character is incredible. I watched a 20-second clip of RoboCop 2, which I watched a bit when I was a kid. I watched it quite a lot when I was young, and then didn't revisit it for a while. Watched it again. I was like, oh, this doesn't hold up. But he is so amazing in that as Kane. And boy, I watched a 20-second clip of him, and I was like, he is so good in this, so much better than this movie deserves,
Shit, do I need to pre-order the RoboCop 2 Steelbook?
You should.
Is that what you're telling me right now?
It's not even that great of a movie, but I do think it's a very watchable experience.
Watchable 20 seconds?
Yeah. Well, there's a lot going for RoboCop 2, that it's a shame it's not better overall, but there's a lot to fucking love about it. The Phil Tippett effects are amazing. The stop motion at the end is so cool. Fucking Tom Noonan's amazing. Like, there's some great humor in there. I really like the way it's like shot and directed. It's fucking Irvin Kershner, who did Empire Strikes Back. And it's like, you can feel like an experienced, deft hand behind the camera and the framing. It's just like the script that really falls to pieces, and like, I love Peter Weller, but he is like doing way too much as RoboCop in that movie.
I was going to say, I completely forgot that he returns. I thought he immediately exited this franchise.
I think what happened is that like Verhoeven, like all behind the scenes of the first one point to like Verhoeven kind of like keeping like the sort of lid on his crazier like ideas for playing RoboCop. Because he was just like, I want to play it like kabuki theater. Like that was his kind of thing going into it. Like, I want to, like, have a very peculiar, like, sort of, like, movement style for RoboCop. And he had his own, like, crazy idea for how he would play it. And I think Verhoeven was like, no, you're a robot. Yeah. But he does.
But not, like...
Yes. It's a little more cartoony, too. And I think that he, like, kind of got his way and was like, I'm going to play it up and be a little goofier.
What's the Nicolas Cage Cher movie?
Is it Moonstruck?
Yeah, Moonstruck. I think it was that movie where he like was really into the idea of playing his character like the Beast from the Beauty and the Beast like 30s film.
Yeah.
And like after a day the director was like, you need to fucking stop doing that.
Well, and then I mean like Raising Arizona, he was like, I'm playing him as Woody Woodpecker, right? Like they made a whole deal out of that. So like yeah, he was into that. Besides, Weller kind of wanted to do RoboCop, and I feel like he was allowed to do that on 2. And it just makes for a weird, inconsistent, like, character from the first. And, like, you can't take him as seriously or, like, care about him as much in 2, because he's, like, more of, like, a cartoon character now. Anyway, Tom Noonan, loved that. I loved that guy.
R.I.P. Tom Noonan.
I really want to see the movie he wrote and directed. It's called, like, What Happened Was. Apparently it was amazing, and I feel bad that I haven't seen it, and that it's, like, it takes him dying for me to check it out, but... I'm excited to watch it.
Yep. Rip to a real one. Yeah. You guys ready to get into it?
I'm so excited to get into it. He would have looked great in ape makeup.
He would have.
Yeah.
Could have been that long arms. Super tall ape in this one.
Yeah.
The Prime Minister. Definitely.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Dead Formats, a movie podcast searching for media long ago frozen in a cold sleep. I'm your host, Chris, and this episode we're going to be discussing the first 3 episodes of Saru no Gundan from 1974. And today I'm joined by 2 very special guests who have both rung the bell of green and stopped hating each other. Greg, Murph, welcome. How are you doing this evening?
I'm very happy to be here. I'm doing fantastic.
I still got a little hate in me, but we can get through this.
Okay. So you guys are, of course, the co-host of the weekly podcast Massacre. You were most recently guests on this show towards the end of last season, where we discussed the 1983 quasi-official fan film Wolfman vs. Godzilla. And as I said, we'll be discussing Saru no Gundan, which is a Japanese television show based loosely on Planet of the Apes. Is that a dead format? We'll find out. But before getting into that, are you guys fans of Planet of the Apes?
Oh, massive Planet of the Apes fan. I have been for most of my life. I feel like I saw the first one pretty young. Like so long ago. One of those things where I definitely saw the parodies first, like probably the Simpsons parody, the Planet of the Apes musical was from my first exposure. But I think I remember like loving that so much that my dad was just like, well, you got to watch Planet of the Apes. And because I remember I had already seen that one before the Mark Wahlberg one came out on home video, because I remember we rented that as a family, and I was familiar enough with the franchise to know already, even at that young age, this is a piece of shit. So like I had some kind of basis for what Planet of the Apes should have been at that point, even though I was like 6. So yeah, it's been like, yeah, I don't really remember my first time watching it, but I loved it. And I didn't see any of the sequels until after the remake, the reboots kind of started happening. So, and I really liked those. So I was like, all right, well, time to finally watch the rest of them. And I love, there's 2 movies I would call bad. The Mark Wahlberg one, and then the most recent one, Kingdom. I think those are the only 2 low points. And other than that, all the Apes movies are extremely watchable at the very least.
Yeah. How about you, Murph?
I'm fine with them. I saw the original, way back in the day. I do remember seeing the Tim Burton one in theaters while on vacation in Alaska. And yeah, that recognition of like, oh, this is what we wasted vacation time on.
Yeah.
But I don't even think I've seen any of the sequels to
Jesus
the original.
Fucking Christ, Murph.
And only the new reboots, which I enjoy up until, Kingdom was not. I definitely liked it more than Greg, but yeah, I was not. Overall, it was a little too bloated, a little too repetitious of what we've already seen.
Yeah.
Yeah, like another like Moses story prison break movie after war was kind of insane. Like, it feels like you need a movie in between before you start doing callbacks.
So many of the same beats, right?
Yeah,
but I know they are a big blind spot for me that I do need to fill in at some point. I just never got around to it.
You definitely should. I was gonna say all of the constant like jingling of the keys in Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Well, that was the first one that they made under Disney, so that makes sense. That's their whole bread and butter.
Pattern here.
Yeah, I mean the pattern of Disney fucking up franchises is very pertinent to my relationship with Planet of the Apes. I don't remember if I had ever seen any of them as a kid. I do distinctly remember like going over to a friend's apartment when I was like probably, I don't know, like 9, and they were just sitting in front of the TV, and it was the scene from Conquest where they're shooting flamethrowers at the apes.
Oh my God, the ape disco torture prison?
Very distinctly. I may have seen the original when I was younger on the Sci-Fi Channel, but basically it was when Dawn of the Planet of the Apes was about to come out. I was like, we should watch that first one because I want to see this when it comes out in theaters. And I just thought that Rise was fucking amazing, so we just mainlined the original series. And I was like, I remember like sitting on my porch explaining the plot of the first 5 movies to a friend, which is how I know like immediately I just loved it, because that's just not something I would normally do. And it's like one of those conversations that's completely one-sided and you can tell they don't really care. And I'm like, I don't give a shit.
I have to get this out.
You have to express this. It is like that series is so satisfying to just describe because the plots immediately fly off the handle starting with the first sequel. Like it immediately goes into an insane place and then it only kind of continues to like get weirder as like the time loop sort of like forms and things start looping around. It is a weirdly like messy but still very satisfying like overarching story for those. And to entice you, Murph, John Huston plays an ape.
I mean, I know that. We've talked about that.
Paul Williams plays an ape in that movie.
I know as well. Yeah,
Austin Stoker from Assault on Precinct 13 is in one of them.
A very bizarre kind of role in Conquest.
Is that the guy from Eraserhead? Paul?
No, I wish, man. Paul Williams?
No, there's in Eraserhead, the guy Paul.
The OK Paul? Yeah, that's not him, and sadly, no. He's the co-star of that guy in Assault on Precinct 13. Right. I realize what you're. Yes, I got you now because I forgot that's him in there. Yeah,
right. Before we move on too far, did your friend sitting on the porch tell you should start a podcast?
No, I actually had tried to start a podcast with him earlier, and it was another I'm kind of way more into this than you are.
So that was like your trial run. Was like, how is he going to respond to me explaining Planet of the Apes to him?
That was like the third attempt at a podcast.
Right. It was a tryout period.
Murph, to entice you even further with this whole the DVDs, or at least like the most recent Blu-ray releases, I think. Each one starts with a CG John Huston impersonator as the ape, like talking about the movie. I don't know if you've seen those, but I remember I rented them all the last time I watched them from Vidiot, and it's like you pop in.
Is it like the Log Lady intros?
Kind of, yes. It's like an animated John Huston, and be like, and in 1973, like they gave us, Battle for the Planet of the Apes, and it's so fun.
Yeah,
but. No, it's like I really love the franchise. I really do find there to be just like a core like conceit amongst a lot of the people who make these things, like the original series and then those 3 reboot ones. They really take the idea seriously, which I really love.
Yeah, and I mean, so to continue on with where I'm going with this a little bit is that I grew up a huge Star Wars fan.
Yeah.
And my love of Planet of the Apes sort of came along at the time when I was falling out of love with Star Wars. And it has made me like this franchise has made me just realize things about the world, and that like, you know, with Star Wars, like it's fine just because something's been a part of your life for your whole life doesn't mean you have to cling to it and just bitch on the internet when it starts going in a direction you don't like. It's fine. You can just like stop liking it.
Yeah.
It's also like watching the originals made me realize that the argument of like, oh, the reason the sequel trilogy of Star Wars was bad is because they didn't have like some like a Kevin Feige or whatever his name is, like some puppeteer behind the scenes guiding every move and like mapping it out. It's bullshit. It's what's wrong with movies these days is just like this slavish adherence to canon, which they did not have in the first 5 Planet of the Apes movies, which leads to, you know, the second one Beneath ending with a terrible decision. But without that, you don't get Escape and Conquest, which is just like the most beautiful part of the series.
Yes. Escape is honestly, like, at times, I think the first one's definitely the best, but Escape
is Escape where they come back to like a present day thing?
Escape's the present day one in San Francisco. Right. Yeah. It's Star Trek 4 before Star Trek 4.
Yep.
So is it the previous one ends with them like back there and then it's like they have to just
it ends with a voiceover after the entire fucking world explodes and they're like on a blue planet somewhere, something, and like literally everyone fucking dies.
It's an insane asshole retcon in Escape, but you kind of don't. I mean, you need that after the way battle ends. Like, if there's going to be any sequel, it's going to be like an insane reach. But Escape to me is so good that I don't really care. Conquest is such a fascinating movie because I often have, you know, I've encountered a lot of people that have watched the franchise say like, oh, Conquest is the one. Like, that's my favorite. I watch Conquest and I have a great time watching it, but also it's in the sense of this shit is terrible in the best way. And so it confounds me that it both confounds and delights me that there's people that are like, I wholeheartedly love Conquest, because I watch it and I'm like, this sucks, but also it sucks in such an enjoyably great fashion. You know, you have to like really give into the world and like give up any sense of like, what do you call it? Like sense of disbelief, because it's like you watch it and like, it took me until like an hour and a half into that movie, and it's not very long, to realize, oh, they're not meant to be mutated apes at this point. This is supposed to be like a regular chimpanzee.
Yes.
You know, and it's like, that blows my mind that's, you're supposed to accept as a viewer that guy in an obvious costume walking upright is supposed to be like, you know, a 3 foot tall chimpanzee. Like, yes, it's really, really crazy.
And they've always been like, you just realize, oh, like even in the first one, they're just supposed to be chimps that talk.
It does make you kind of really look back on things and be like, oh, and in that sense, they really didn't accomplish that at all in the first one, you know, which is kind of funny. Because you don't think about it when you're watching that first one. I'm just like, yeah, these are future apes. They're more man-like, you know, because of generations of evolution, but I guess not. But that makes sense because like that's how it is in the book. I mean, I became such a fan in my teens after the reboot trilogy, and then I went back and watched that first one that I did read the book. I've read Monkey Planet.
Same.
Was by is it Pierre? Is it Boulet? I forgot how you say his name exactly.
I've just always said Boule. I don't know French pronunciation.
Yeah. But the book is also great in its own right and different enough from any of the movies that it's like you are kind of like shocked by where it goes at times.
Yeah, it's super different. The famous twist from Planet of the Apes is not the twist from the book. Like the twist is kind of, I don't even know, like had the movies never existed, if the ending of the book would be even considered a twist, or if we look at that like that in hindsight.
No, it's kind of just like the logical like conclusion of that story in a weird way. You know what I mean? Like, not really logical because it still doesn't really make sense, but like, it just kind of feels like that's how the story ends. It's like a warning for the Earth. Yeah.
I think they're all good. I don't know. Like the first one, obviously a classic, but I think I would put like 2 of the reboots and like Conquest and Escape above it.
Yeah.
There's just something, the Rod Serling of it all and the Charlton Heston kind of is grating a little bit.
Heston is,
you know, the Serling where like every character is like some tropological stand-in for like some other idea that works in the Twilight Zone because it's 30 minutes. But when you have like Charlton Heston and like all the other astronauts be like, oh, you really must hate your fellow man and like all of this stuff. I'm like, this is kind of, it's a bit too much.
I think that's the roughest part of that first one. And even then I still like it because Heston is so like campy and like is chewing the scenery so hard that I still really love it. But yeah, I see what you mean. Speaking of the reboot trilogy, I think Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, like I've seen that one so many times. Like that is maybe my favorite movie of the 2010s. Like I don't know like how many, maybe a favorite blockbuster I'll say, because there's probably better movies, but like in terms of just like the scope of it and like the dramatics of it, and like I just think it really knocks it out of the fucking park. You know,
I mean, Gary Oldman is a great antagonist as
so
always.
Good in that. Yeah, really,
you know,
really
you get
great
Jason Clarke getting cucked by an ape.
Yes, exactly. Returning champion Judy Greer as the mom ape because she has to play a mother in literally everything, like we talked about in The Long Walk.
Really the mom?
She is. She has no lines. She just has the vocab for it. Yeah. Yes, but she's a mother. It's a mother in a movie, so it has to be played by Judy Greer.
Of course, it makes sense. Now we are talking a lot about how great the Planet of the Apes stuff is. Can we talk just a little bit about the 2001 one that is particularly good? There are performances that are pretty stellar.
Tim Roth,
Michael Clarke Duncan, Paul Giamatti is having a blast every time he's on screen.
I was going to get at that too. Yeah. That's the thing, is I do love this franchise so much that arguably its biggest failure is still so fascinating to me that every couple of years, I'm pretty sure I've mentioned this on a podcast at least once, every few years, I have to try it again. I have to be like, but it can't be as bad as I remember because...
Let's give it a roll of the dice.
Right, there's so many factors to it that I think are fantastic. The makeup is absolutely phenomenal. It's the best ape makeup...
Oscar winning.
Like, in the franchise, yes.
Exactly.
Deservedly Oscar winning. I do think there's interesting ideas in there. they try to kind of pull more from the book, you know, by having it actually be a different planet and not Earth. There's little moments of like world building in it, you know, with like the clothing decisions and like the costuming of the apes, little like phrases they'll say like relating to the religion that I'm like, that's just like a cool little piece of world building that no other ape movie has done.
Yeah.
But then the actual like movie sucks so bad. Like,
do you think that maybe replacing Wahlberg would be the best decision for it?
That's a huge part of it, but I think there's another part which honestly is kind of reflected in our other topic today, our main topic today. But the fact that the humans aren't like dumb animals in it, I think does take away from just the core conceit of the franchise, of the original book. The book is like, hey, this is an inverse world. Apes are the masters, humans are the dumb animals. To have them just be like talking, thinking people in that Tim Burton one takes away just from the inherent premise of like the thought experiment, you know, of like, what if we were treated like apes? What if we were in their position? So I just think it inherently loses a lot there. And I also think Tim Burton just, I don't know. I love a lot of Tim Burton movies still. Like,
he was not in a good place at that time.
Not in a good place, but even when I rewatch the stuff I love, I'm like, he's just never been the strongest, like, director in my... You know what I mean? I like his Batman movie quite a bit. I think it's great. I still think Ed Wood is really good and has some great moments. I love Attack from Mars. Pee-wee is amazing. But
Beetlejuice, he's a visualist. Like, he knows how to communicate an odd feeling through an image.
It just like Planet of the Apes is so out of his wheelhouse. Like this kind of like epic action movie with like
philosophical undertones.
Philosophical undertones, yes. Like about the nature of conflict, thing. Right? Like
that's probably what drew him into it, and then it just never really... Do we think Johnny Depp could do a better job than Wahlberg? I mean, because that's
probably a better actor overall, but no.
Better than Wahlberg, yes.
Yeah.
Good, no. Especially, you can't get Tim Burton and Johnny Depp in a room together and not have him do some wacky bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, do you think if that would have happened, we would have had Depp burgers by now?
Oh boy, I don't think I would want to eat at Depp Burgers, but but I mean, I can't even think of who would be a good replacement because I don't know what that character was supposed to be. I mean, he is like it's that kind of classic thing of like the action hero. He's a macho scientist in a macho primatologist in space, like astronaut. Like I don't know. It's just like weird.
I got it. After Pitch Black, Vin Diesel.
I probably would prefer
I would
that.
like it way more. It would probably be worse, but I would like it more.
Yes, it probably would still not be very good. I don't know.
You live your life a quarter parsec at a time.
That character in that movie is just so bland that it's hard to come up with anyone.
Yeah.
Because like
it's like
the Taylor character
right.
in the original is just like this raging asshole that fucking hates humans.
Yeah.
Mark Wahlberg role is basically just like the role that has been relegated to Chris Pratt in every movie now.
Oh,
just
absolutely.
Like
that's
very
a great
generic, like in shape guy.
You know who could have been? I think that would have been kind of interesting. The other half, our other dearly departed half of Synecdoche, New York's Philip Seymour Hoffman. You know, like I don't know why. I don't know why he came to mind because I'm thinking Tom Noonan because he's also in Synecdoche, but like. Philip Seymour Hoffman on a Planet of Apes, that just really appeals to me. That just really sounds amazing.
Well, I did joke about Vin Diesel, but possibly Paul Walker, I think. I mean, he's a horrible actor.
No, thank you.
But again, this is who they would be like, well, I mean, he's pretty enough. Like, that's the comparison against the apes.
If you want to get somebody Burton had worked with before, Michael Keaton, I think that'd be kind of cool.
Too old at this point.
No, in the late 90s, like in Jackie Brown
Charlton
mode,
Heston was like 75.
Right, but they're going younger.
How
they
about
are
Guy
going
Pearce?
for the
If you're going
heartthrob.
younger, Guy Pearce?
I feel like he would have the urge to be in some sort of weird makeup and then just play an ape instead.
That's fine with me too. I'll take a Pierce ape.
Yeah,
he goes undercover. As
hard to say. I think the main problem with that movie is just the ending. One of the things I love.
That's the best part of the movie.
Well, what I love so much about it is this little piece of trivia that has stuck with me is that when it was released on DVD, the insert in the DVD case was dedicated to explaining the ending because of how little sense it made to everyone that watched it.
And it still doesn't really make sense with their explanation, if I remember correctly. Like, it still, like, doesn't really work.
To me, it brings up what's kind of fascinating about this 3 episodes and the concept of this future, but that there was an Abraham Lincoln, and they still decided to build the same type of monument in the same general place.
Well, I always took it as like they just retrofitted the previous one, right? They just recarved his face into Tim Roth's.
See, this is why you have to read the DVD insert.
Yeah. It's because Tim Roth leaves after them and the wormhole does a weird switcheroo thing where the person that goes in later into the wormhole shows up before the things that went in before it. So Tim Roth went back in time further than Mark Wahlberg did. After he somehow broke out of his containment.
Whole society.
Yes, and took over the planet. Took over the entire planet by himself? I don't know.
Yeah, I always took it as something along those lines.
Pre-Lincoln. That they came...
I always
even
took it
pre-Civil War that they were there taking over.
Maybe he showed up like in mid-1910s or something. And it's just like, again, they recarve. I don't know what year the Lincoln Memorial was built. But
Mark Wahlberg doesn't go that far long after the ape, and then it's like millions of years, and there's this whole civilization.
That's a Hassline curve, my friend.
Yeah, Hassline.
But shouldn't it work the inverse way as well? That even if Tim Roth goes first, that it's, millions of years?
That's a good question.
Who can say?
Look, we'll have to revisit this when we cover that as a full episode on our podcasts. Like, we can do that. We could find a way to spin it as a horror movie, I think, right?
It's an animals attack movie.
Have we actually checked if Stephen Hawking sent any emails to a certain person about explaining...
Where was Neil deGrasse Tyson fact-checking this? Why didn't he set them straight?
I would actually love to hear that. Nothing would give me more joy than him being super pedantic about 2001's Tim Burton's Planet of the Apes.
So what do we know about, though, ultimately, like, this must have been I know Planet of the Apes was big internationally, right? But in Japan in particular, did they really have that much of a love for, do we know about this?
Yes, they did. Okay. So let's talk about Saru no Gundan. So during, after falling in love with Planet of the Apes, it was during my search for more apes media that I stumbled upon this. I may have seen, so this was actually re-edited for like American audiences and called Time of the Apes in 1987. they condensed 26 episodes of this show into a 94-minute movie, and it was featured on season 3, episode 6 of Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Yeah, I saw this fact and I got to track it down.
Yeah,
I got to see that
difficult
episode.
After watching 3 episodes. There is a lot of like, you can skip a couple seconds here and there. They're just going through the jungle. Yeah. Okay.
Well, that's only 3 episodes. They took stuff from all 26 and made it into 94 minutes.
Okay, I was also seeing, though, an alternate title for that called Canines of the Caribbean. That's what that movie is listed on IMDb, Time of the Apes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sure, why not? Yeah, so I think I had seen that at some point, but it wasn't one of the episodes of that show that I really watched a lot, so I don't fucking remember anything about that. I found out about this, and then I had to find a way to watch it. There's a Laserdisc box set and 2 different DVD box sets, but I soon found out that this has never been, or it's never received an official English translation. I think this was actually one of, if not the first things I ever machine translated myself. Wow. This was a couple years ago at this point. Since then, someone else has created subs for it and uploaded it to YouTube, which is the version you guys watched. The video I have is actually higher quality. The subs just need to be retimed, but the subs that I have are better.
That was going to be my next question, was like, yeah, how did you feel about this translation versus the one you did?
So, well, the main problem with this one is that there are just sections where there's dialogue with no subtitles.
Yeah.
That's a problem. Having watched it with my subtitles,
that important.
Exactly.
Like, we're not missing
really
anything major.
Right. I had just done a bunch of subtitling for the episode of this show before this. So as soon as I saw this on YouTube, I was like, fuck it. These guys can watch this slop version. Yeah, this has been on my list of things to talk about on the show longer than probably everything. It was one of the first couple things I thought about, but just didn't happen last season. Stuff was just leaning to Japan heavy, which I love that, but this podcast is not explicitly about just Japanese stuff.
No,
so
sometimes it's about Russian novels.
Yeah. So this just kept getting bumped. But to answer,
sometimes it's about Private Eyes in LA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking, I mean, when we talked about the 2 Jakes, and I was like, my problem with Jack Nicholson is that he's always a raging asshole, and he just seems like that in real life. I think Charlton Heston takes the cake on that for me. Like,
he's a weird one, man.
Every movie he's in, it just seethes. Like, this guy is a piece of shit, and like in real life was a piece of shit. So
yeah, weird NRA stuff, and just absolutely. Although, I mean, I don't know. The comedian Dana Gould had a story about meeting him, and this is one guy who's like, and he's and
well, he was nice to me.
Super fan, exactly right. And of course, Dana Gould worships Planet of the Apes, and so of course he's excited to meet the star of it, and he's going to say he was nice. But he does tell a very great, heartwarming story about meeting him, where I'm like, yeah, Heston's a weird one. I mean, he's his own. Nicholson's a great comparison. Heston never deviates from being Heston in anything I've ever seen him in. Like, even when he's playing a Mexican in Touch of Evil, which I love that movie, but that is a weird part of it. Even though I think he's good in it. But he also is just playing Mexican Heston.
Yeah. I mean, even in just in Tombstone, where he has 2 lines where he's like, this is Hooker's ranch. I'm Hooker. He dude, why are you so fucking pissed off right now?
His cameo in the 2001 Planet of the Apes.
I was about to bring that up, because he's just laying in a bed because he's so fucking old at that point.
Yelling about how much he hates guns, in a very interesting moment. But but uncredited, but you don't need credits. It's Charlton Heston. You can tell through the ape makeup.
Yeah. But to answer your question, Greg, about Japan's love of Planet of the Apes, Planet of the Apes, the original movie, was first broadcast on television in Japan on December 24th, 1973, on the Tokyo Broadcasting System, TBS.
Very funny.
Yeah. Anyone familiar with the sorts of media that they like to consume in Japan will not be surprised to learn that this broadcast did gangbusters. It had an audience rating of 37.1%, which how I interpret that is that 37.1% of the people watching TV at that time were watching Planet of the Apes. And even before that, it was the franchise was just very popular there. It was the only country that got to see the uncut version of Conquest of the Planet of the Apes during its theatrical run, which I don't think the rest of the world got to see until like the 2008 DVD release.
I was gonna say, until Blu-ray or DVD, right?
Yeah, and so then on top of that, their love of Planet of the Apes, they just have a general fascination with special effects. And also at this time, in the early 70s, there was a boom in disaster and apocalypse films, which I won't go too deep into because that may or may not come up sometime later this season. But
hell yeah, that
pretty much sets the stage for Saru no Gundan, and this show was created by Tsuburaya Productions.
I was going to say, the fact that it's Tsuburaya, who Tsuburaya Productions did Godzilla movies, but they also did Ultraman, I think, right? Was them?
Yes.
Yeah.
So this was the first time that they had hired outside writers to come up with a story. One of the writers, Sakio Komatsu, he had promised to deliver an original story to Tsuburaya before Tsuburaya died. So, and Komatsu was partially responsible for this disaster movie boom in Japan after his 1973 novel, Japan Sinks, became an absolute phenomenon in Japan. And Komatsu, he's also known as one of the big three of science fiction in Japan. I love how Japanese are always giving nicknames like that out, like the Pink directors, the four heavenly kings of Pink. It's just fun when they do things like that. So
that's beautiful.
Komatsu, he oddly appears as the title character's father in the 1988 V Cinema movie Star Virgin, which stars Eiko Kuroki, returning champ on this show. She is the titular Miracle Bunny in Miracle Bunny and Miracle Bunny 2.
Incredible.
And so
Star Virgin is actually going to be Elon's call sign.
Komatsu wrote this along with Aritsune Toyota and Koji Tanaka. They developed this series. One thing that I read was that Komatsu was critical of Pierre Boulle's novel because he felt that the apes were caricatures of Japanese people.
Really?
Not quite sure what he means by that. It kind of sounds like it's like a thou doth protest too much situation.
Yeah, that's
it's
insane because I definitely think Boule is writing more about France than he is writing
most
about
likely,
Japan, probably.
He was French.
Yeah.
But because of that, because he somehow saw negative aspects of Japanese society in this French novel, he wanted to put his own spin on ape society in this show, make the behaviors of the different species of apes more in line with zoological reality. So in Saru no Gundan, the chimpanzees are the violent ones, not the gorillas.
But that is how it is in the book, I think, too, right?
I think that's true in the book as well.
I remember the book describing gorillas being like businessmen, as opposed to soldiers or guards or security. I kind of remember that being an aspect of it. Yeah. With orangutans being politicians and then chimpanzees, I think that's the same deal. I think they were the more violent ones.
Yeah. So atypical for tokusatsu shows of the time, this was a serial drama as opposed to the more episodic Monster of the Week nature of Tsuburaya's other productions, like Ultraman Leo was the Ultraman series that was concurrent with this. And the show's ratings struggled because it had to compete with Space Battleship Yamato, which is a massively popular property in Japan, and Heidi, Girl of the Alps, an anime based on the Swiss novel. That was also super popular.
What competition.
Yeah. So this only ran for one season, 26 episodes in total, although it did end with the story nicely wrapped up. It's not much, but it's more than you can say for the American Planet of the Apes TV series, which I want to say had 14 episodes, one of which didn't ever actually air on TV, and it just ended without.
Yeah, I've never, that's the one aspect of the American franchise that I've never explored. I know people do say that it's actually not bad. There are some
it's good
decent episodes.
if you're on board for Planet of the Apes, I don't see how you wouldn't like it.
Yeah,
it was
okay,
a bit difficult to track down. I had to get European DVDs. I couldn't even download it or just watch it on YouTube at the time when I was trying to see it, because it's just one of those things that people give so little shit about. You can't even pirate it.
Well, there was also
are there any names in it?
Roddy McDowell.
I was going to say Roddy McDowell is in it, yeah.
And man, I can't remember
as a regular or just this is cameo.
He's one of the main characters. I can't remember the actor's name or the character name. Spock's father.
Oh yeah,
that actor is also one of the main characters.
That makes sense. That's another aspect. I watched all the sequels. I got back into the series after I became a Star Trek fan as well, and I particularly like the original series for Star Trek. And so Planet of the Apes just slots right into that. It's the same vibe, So that's just another reason I really love this franchise. It's just it just feels like a weird alternate planet, Star Trek, world, sort of strangely.
Yeah.
They did do crossover comics in the mid 2000s, Star Trek meets Planet of the Apes that were pretty fun. You get to see the evil apes team up with the Klingons.
How many apes did Kirk fuck?
He probably did fuck at least one, I imagine. But he must have, right? Yeah.
Yeah, maybe hot take, but I think I like the Planet of the Apes TV show better than Star Trek, the original series.
Wow, interesting.
Original Star Trek is definitely better, but man, it was rough when I watched it.
There's some pretty rough episodes.
They're very long, and it's very episodic to where it's okay, Bones and Spock and Kirk, they're cool with each other, but the next episode, everyone's an asshole to Spock again.
The highs are high, but there's also a lot of slogs in that original series too.
Yeah. So as far as the cast for this, Reiko Tokunaga is Kazuko Izumi, Hiroko Saito is Yurika, Masaki Kaji is Jiro, Tetsuya Ushio as Gordo, and Mugi Hatakeyama as Chief Geber. Mostly just TV actors, so unless you're a 1970s Japanese television aficionado, you likely haven't seen them in anything. Although they kind of popped up in Kamen Rider and Ultraman, so maybe.
Tetsuya Ushio was in Return of Godzilla as a background character. I was saying.
I saw that.
I think there was another one too I saw where it's he's in Godzilla vs. Mothra. A couple of them are in one or two Godzilla movies as very minor characters. Yeah.
That's about all I got on this one. So before we get into these 3 episodes, did you guys watch Horror Hall of Fame?
Oh shit. No, I totally blanked on that. Oh my god.
The whole thing.
I didn't do my fucking work. Uh-oh.
Shame on you, Greg.
Yeah. Whoops. Jeez. It's been a busy week for me.
That's all right. You'll get the gist. Murph and I can talk about it. So, during the season break for this show, I thought, how can I make this show even longer? That's the one thing that was missing from season 1. The episodes just weren't long enough. So we're introducing a new segment that is tentatively called Short Ends, where we talk about the types of dead formats that just don't have enough film on the reel to fill out an entire episode. And, this week, the one that we're going to be talking about is the Horror Hall of Fame from 1990. So this is a TV event award show that ran for 3 years, 1990 to 1992, each held at Universal Studios Hollywood, each hosted by Robert Englund. It's basically just the Oscars of horror. So what'd you think about this, Murph?
It was enjoyable. I thought there were some funny moments in it. I liked Chucky's little white tux. That was cute. There was a really funny part where Robert Englund makes a joke after Chucky. He goes thanks, you're what a doll. And then nobody laughs, and he mouths I didn't write this.
Yeah.
And then they continue on. So overall, the Thrillomedy that we have covered before,
that,
Arachnophobia,
to me is that's category fraud on the part of Horror Hall of Fame, because as you said, a Thrillomedy won Best Horror Film.
Not a horror comedy, a Thrillomedy. But I think overall I was charmed by it, but I understand why it did not live on in perpetuity. What was it? The kid giving the award. with Jason. That was pretty funny. Like
returning champ from Cujo, that kid.
Yes, that was
right.
it. Yeah.
Danny Pintaro, yeah. So, okay, I have some good news. Now that you're discussing this, I have seen a bunch of clips of this in the past.
Wow.
So I know exactly what you're talking about. Chucky and his adorable little white tux.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen the Jason giving Danny Pintaro the award thing that he slammed. So I am slightly familiar with this. I have not seen it in some time, but I do know a little bit about this, thankfully.
It had Zelda Rubinstein in it as well, right?
Yep, Catherine Hicks.
They had to put a little platform to get her up to the,
oh my God.
the podium.
Roger Corman, Janet Leigh, Sam Kinison, Linnea Quigley, Kane Hodder, Rick Baker, Joe Dante, Forrest J. Ackerman, Anthony Perkins, The Crypt Keeper, and as you guys mentioned, Chucky, amongst others. Amazing cast.
Did they mention Anguish at all for Zelda Rubinstein, or is it purely Poltergeist?
She was giving out an award, I believe. The best part was when Anthony Perkins gives out the Best Horror Film Award, and he's listing the nominees, and for all of them, he's like, I didn't see it, so...
not going to see it. Oh, Arachnophobia, I'm going to make my way to the theater for that one.
Yeah. So the nominees were Darkman, Nightbreed, Arachnophobia, Gremlins 2, and Tremors. Arachnophobia won, as we said, but
that's crazy.
I'm wondering which of those you guys would pick for your best horror film of 1990.
It's hard not to say like Gremlins 2,
right?
But I don't know. Tremors is pretty good. I mean, I also love Darkman. There's some solid choices in there. I would hesitate even call Darkman a horror movie. Ultimately, it's way more of an action film, I would say. I mean, it's got horror influences.
2 is more of a comedy
it's way
than
more
anything.
Comedy. I mean, I might say Tremors.
It's not real. I don't think that's really... I mean, we covered it on the podcast, but I don't know if I'd go full... I mean, Nightbreed I thought was horrible, so that's definitely not...
I like Nightbreed, but it's also kind of rough. The fact that... I think
Gremlins 2
yeah,
is the best of the movies, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Unanimous. And in a really weird coincidence, the guy that uploaded this to YouTube was a guest on Box Office Gross on their most recent episode. I believe he's a returning guest, but it was just really weird hearing them say, our guest, Doug Tilley. And I was like, that sounds really familiar. It's because I've been staring at it on YouTube for the last week. And so I asked, did you upload this to YouTube 11 years ago? The answer was yes.
Oh, that's awesome.
Weird coincidence.
Yeah.
Small world.
But most importantly, and the reason I chose it for the short end of this episode, is that Vincent Price receives a Lifetime Achievement Award, and it is presented to him by Roddy McDowell.
Beautiful, man. Oh, that's so beautiful.
Well, he's the 7th inductee into the Hall of Fame.
They would have met in 1944 on the set of The Keys of the Kingdom. Price was 33 and McDowell was 16 at the time. And this was 1990, so that's
Vincent,
56
that was illegal.
years. Yeah, or 46 years rather. It's just the sweetest thing ever.
In the world. Who
we got a Kevin Spacey situation going on over here.
Oh, come on, not to Vincent Price. Let's leave that. He's one of the few like genuinely like wholesome figures I think in movies I can think of, honestly, from all reports. But returning champion Vincent Price, we should say, because we didn't talk about him in The Tingler. Who do we think today? So we have Robert Englund hosting this one. Who do we have today hosting? Who's our guy?
Who would we want, or who would it be? Because it would just be Eli Roth, basically. Like I swear
Jesus,
that
man.
Fangoria would probably be the ones putting an award like this on, and they would just be like, "Oh, Eli Roth, he gets to do everything."
Yeah, you're right. They do try to make him like the ambassador of horror all the time. You know, it's like. Yeah, like he's the horror guy. The guy can't direct a fucking good horror movie to save his life, but somehow he's like the horror guy.
The Pennywise, you get
Bill Skarsgård. Sure,
yeah, that's who
true.
You do.
I feel like they've sort of like, you know, the Tim Curry Pennywise always was, I think, considered like a sort of, that's kind of like an iconic performance, right? But the past few years, since that new It came out, they're really pushing Pennywise as like a modern icon,
a classic, right?
Yeah.
And then you get Art the Clown to do the silent thing like Jason does.
Honestly,
you're gonna have Megan, Mithrigan in there.
You would definitely feature Art for sure. Art would be a huge part of it. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Megan in the kind of the Chucky role, she wears like a white ball gown or something, to accept her reward. Yeah.
You get the pool from Night Swim in there.
Ben the chimpanzee comes out on stage,
Yes.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of like who, if there really is someone like a Robert Englund, because like, yeah, Bill Skarsgård, great actor, seems like he would make a good host. But the thing about Robert Englund is like he, had worked with Roger Corman, but was also in Nightmare on Elm Street. So he had like that one foot in the classic horror that they're talking about, but also being like extremely relevant to what was the movies of today in 1990. So I'm trying to think who that might be now.
Honestly, in that sense, it would maybe be somebody like Kevin Bacon, right? He's in Friday the 13th.
Would be good.
He starts out in the 80s slashers. He still occasionally dips back into the horror realm,
that's true.
All of his career. He's always been kind of like, one foot in that world.
Shit, I just forgot who I was going to say. Nicolas Cage, obviously, Mr. Longlegs himself.
Sure.
I feel like is a choice, and he always needs the money.
Yeah, he's got to pay off another like dinosaur skeleton.
Dinosaur head, yeah.
He just bought, yeah. Why has he not been in an Apes movie? To bring it back to Apes, Nicolas Cage, like in ape makeup, I think that is a fucking home run.
I'm sure he's tried.
Yeah.
I have to imagine he's probably a huge fan of these movies.
Oh, there's no way he isn't. Yeah, there's no way he's not completely obsessed. I do remember hearing a story on a podcast once that one actor who is like crazy obsessed about Planet of the Apes is Tracy Morgan. Apparently, he would take a lot of people from when he was shooting 30 Rock. He would almost just have that original movie running in a loop in his dressing room, and people would just go then and sit down with him, and he would like shot by shot, frame by frame, break down why that's like one of the greatest movies ever made. Like, it just had this whole like spiel and rant about it that he would perform for people like in between, like takes on 30 Rock. So.
A lot of people don't know this, but he was trying to show the driver of the party bus clips from Planet of the Apes.
He was holding his phone up to the driver while he was on the road.
No, man, you gotta watch this. This is great. This is the best part.
See, the way Heston, like, falls off the horse, like, everything,
It would kind of suck to have him in one of the modern ones because, like, they're not, like, the apes don't really have a great grasp of language, and he's just, like, such a rapid-fire, funny guy, like... He would have to play a human.
I imagine he would be like the night show talk show host for the Planet
the late
of the
night
Apes.
Host.
Right, exactly.
Oh my god,
the Johnny Carson of.
So, I think we're just talking a lot of apes in general. A lot of everything Planet of Apes related.
So, Horror Hall of Fame 1990. Check it out. It's a very nice little time capsule. It's fun.
Greg, this isn't our show.
They also did like a video games award show around this time. There's a very similar sort of thing. I think may have been the same people that put this one on. I remember that one's also very much worth watching if you could find that. It's a very similar sort of thing.
I did like how it ends with him finally having the glove and be like, come back for year 2. I hear that they also kind of did a preview for year 4 that never happened.
Damn. Yeah, one of the interesting things about this is that it was not broadcast on any specific network. Any of the 3 years that they made it, they just sold it for syndication. So, like, if a local station by you wanted to pick it up and show it, you got to see it. But there's a good chance you didn't. Like, I had never really I don't think I'd ever seen anything about this or heard anything about this until this week.
Where do you think all those statues are?
In a landfill.
Are they still keeping them? Like the Vincent Price 7th inductee award.
Does Brad Dourif still have the award he got for Chucky? Do you think
he just handed it out? He gave an
award.
He may have gotten one in one of the next 2 years, but yeah, most of the people I'm thinking of, like the people that received them, most of them are dead. So,
Greg, go start checking pawn shops in and around LA.
I'll track one down for sure. I gotta go back.
If you have any Horror Hall of Fame, because it looks like a Grim Reaper-esque. Like there's no face.
It's pretty
kind of
cool.
guy. It looks cool.
Yeah, I've seen I had a GIF of the Jason putting it down on this podium for a while that I used to use. So like I've seen it a lot. But to give you some more fuel for this segment in the future, Chris, this Video Games Award show was called Cybermania 94. I think it's the only year it ever happened. And it was co-hosted by Leslie Nielsen and Jonathan Taylor Thomas.
Damn, it should have been
what?
Bob Hoskins and John Leguizamo.
Oh, God, that would have been good. That would have been so good. Yeah.
Dennis Hopper and Yoshi.
But yeah, I watched most of Cybermania 94 a couple years ago, and it's worth a look. Reminded me a lot of the Horror Hall of Fame. So check that out.
We'll check that out. Yeah, I mean that's all for that. Yeah, so Saru no Gundan, episode 1, plunged into a world of mystery. So we get a title card with a solar eclipse before the theme song, which plays over footage of different apes doing ape stuff in cages. And one of the ways in which my subtitles are better is we have lyrics for the theme song.
Oh, hell yeah.
Which are... Far away, far away, far away, if you travel through the wilderness of time, there, a mysterious world is waiting. ... Stop hating each other. Ring the bell of green. Take the weapon of love and grace. Fight like a human. The monkey army. What will you do? What will you do?
Incredible.
I assume something is lost in translation, but...
I mean... I haven't watched many Japanese TV shows, but a lot of animes do kind of have like these weird theme songs that don't have that much to do with the shows.
Well, I mean, I feel like even movies, a lot of the 70s Japanese movies especially, that like a couple that I've seen, like even one of the Lone Wolf and Cub movies has a weird like theme song that it plays in one section with lyrics that kind of have a similar feel to it. I recently watched like Lady Snowblood has like a ballad about her. You know, those are a little more relevant. But just the song to me felt very much in the style of those, you know? Where it's like, we're going to have a singer kind of sing lyrics that seem tangentially related to like the themes of whatever's happening.
Like Godzilla versus Hedorah, when there's a singer talking about fish dying and
exactly.
all that shit.
Yeah, see, it even made its way into Godzilla for sure. But I love this opening, though. Just seeing real ape footage for a couple minutes is so delightful. I mean, I should just say that. I am a huge primate person in general. I love apes and primates. I think they're such fascinating creatures. You know, like I really do get strangely emotional about them too. Like it's weird. Just that thing.
Well, you famously love a movie where Charlotte Rampling fucks a monkey. So.
I do love that movie. It's a fascinating film. Yeah, that's Max Mia Moore, of course. It's interesting. It's a real interesting movie.
Mm-hmm.
But
that may be why you go by Gorilla Greg on certain message boards.
That is, I changed it because of this month. That was just for the Jungle January, of course. But no, I do find apes so fascinating, and that's a big reason why I think I do like Planet of the Apes. It just feeds into my natural fascination with them as animals. So I was real stoked just to be able to watch a couple minutes of apes, you know, like doing their thing for the intro to this, and then that sudden turn where a gorilla turns its head, and then we're just looking at a bunch of apes in army uniforms, you know, like out of nowhere. It's great.
Yeah, so we're introduced to the two child leads of the show, Jiro, Eureka. Jiro sits down to breakfast with his parents. His mother tells him to behave today when he visits his brother and or uncle at some sort of lab. His father tells him that his brother and or uncle's research is almost complete, so he should pay close attention. And Eureka rings the doorbell, and as the two children set off for the lab, there's a short earthquake, and Jiro's mother suggests that maybe he should stay home today, but he says he's fine, and off the children go to the laboratory.
Yeah, what is Eureka's relation? She's just a school friend?
A classmate, maybe?
Classmate? Okay. But I did find that very funny that it's just like a minor like tremor and the mother's like, cancel everything, you're staying home. Like, does she know that there's like a huge earthquake?
If he had stayed home, he probably would have died. We have to assume that they die, right?
Yeah. Is this like a humanity ending earthquake that happens here? Like, I guess we have to keep watching the series to find out more about the world, right?
So those kids arrive at the Low Temperature Astrophysics Research Institute, where they are greeted by Dr. Izumi, and she explains to them that the Institute is conducting research into hibernation or cold sleep. She takes them to a room filled with monkeys, air quotes, that are not actual monkeys. She shows them some lemurs and a slow loris. Those are not monkeys. Eureka admires some flowers. She's startled when a cobra pops out at her, but it's just a rubber snake. Jiro's playing one of his classic pranks.
Her quote is something like, "Oh, these flowers make the room even more beautiful."
Yeah, and it's like a cold, sterile room with like a control panel.
Frames and shit.
But there's lots of pretty lights and, flashing things. But then there's like, "Oh, these flowers." That really ties the room together.
Yeah. And so Jiro, he finds a chamber in the lab that contains a frozen monkey. And Jiro's uncle enters the lab, and there's yet another small earthquake. Foreshadowing. And they decide that they need to demonstrate the progress of their research in front of these young children and unfreeze this monkey.
He was frozen for like 10 days or something, you said, right? Yeah.
20-day sleep.
Days.
Luckily, it comes back to life.
You just keep a frozen monkey on hand, just in case you got to impress some children.
Yeah. And so the uncle explains that there's actually a human named James Bedford frozen in America right now. We get this really awesome cutaway to like a spinning model of a frozen American man. And, cryogenic shit, like we can freeze people for thousands of years, yada, yada. And they show, Dr. Izumi shows the kids human hibernation chambers, which freeze people with negative 272 degree liquid helium. Jiro, of course, has to be a little shit and climbs into one of the chambers. And just then a nearby volcano erupts, which causes an earthquake that slams the door shut to the chamber. And as the building begins to collapse around them, Dr. Izumi puts Eureka into another chamber and she climbs into one herself. Wouldn't you know it? Some falling debris knocks the switch that initiates the hibernation sequence, and our three leads are frozen.
I do love the efficiency of all this. Like, not even 10 minutes in, and they're being sent to the future already. Also, just like, it's literally 3 seconds after she explains, like, you get inside, you press the button, the computer does everything for you, and then that happens literally 2 minutes later.
Yeah, that's funny, because, like, part of it's TV, so you got to speed things up a little.
Yeah.
That's part of what's funny about the American Planet of the Apes series is that literally like 15 minutes into the series, the two astronauts realize that they're on Earth, which is like the entire plot of the 2-hour original movie.
That's where do you go from there?
You just hang out. Well,
it's a hangout show.
It's it's kind of like, and I compare everything to this now. It's kind of like the Incredible Hulk TV show where Verding
they go
and
from
Burke,
town to town helping apes along the way.
They like revolutionize technology everywhere they go. They're like, oh, here's how a windmill is built, and the monkeys,
here's fire.
Yeah, the apes are like, that's sacrilege. We have always planted seeds like this, and then one of the astronauts grew up on a farm, so he teaches them like Gregor Mendel selective breeding of plants. It's that kind of shit.
And it always ends with sad piano music.
Yes. Urko, I believe, is the gorilla guy in that. He shows up and they have to go to the next town. Good shit. Also, in this show, this volcano scene, they spent like 50% of the season's budget on that sequence.
This is where you can tell it's a Subaraya production. Those miniatures, it's beautiful. I don't even get like, it gets in a couple minutes when we have the pods being dug out, but like, the miniature trucks look great. I really love seeing those pop up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they do get dug up by bulldozers after the commercial break. Dr. Izumi remembers that they were frozen. They wake up and begin to explore the lab that they're in, quickly realizing that this is not the Low Temperature Astrophysics Research Institute. They come upon a door and open it, only to find that it's a room full of humanoid apes in lab coats. How did this hit you?
Maybe one of the funniest visuals of all time. Just an ape in a lab coat.
It's great.
It's hilarious.
Really it's a great reveal. The fact that like she opens the door and it's like a blinding white light like hits them first.
Yeah.
And then all these apes kind of turn around. They kind of look bored or just like, whatever. You know what I mean? They look so.
Well, they're in the middle of a presentation.
Yes,
it's probably on like the insurance plan that they have to choose.
There's
it's open enrollment.
Right.
There's a general attitude to most of the actors playing the apes in this of just like a complete indifference that I really like. You know, just like, yeah, they're an ape and it's just like an everyday thing to them for all of this. You know what I mean? So just like, I don't know, there's a casualness to all the ape performances I really loved. And it starts immediately with that. The way they turn to look at them, you know, it's like, why would they be surprised? Yeah, there's just like 3 naked monkeys as they talk them, you know, as they call them.
Yeah.
But I really love, though, like the crazy transition to the future right before they wake up, those like trippy colors and visuals.
Yeah.
And like the professor screams like at a really weird distorted scream. It's just a bizarre little like flavor, you know, before they wake up and in the lab.
Yeah, so the 3 humans run away as an alarm sounds, and just as they're about to escape the facility, they're captured by apes in military uniforms carrying rifles, and the humans are tied to a tree. Jiro spits in one of the ape's faces, and just as the ape is about to hit the kid with the butt of his rifle, a military vehicle rolls up, and out steps an ape dressed in an officer's uniform.
Cowboy boots and spurs.
Yeah. So they're
awesome.
The humans are blindfolded, taken to a like quarry type of place, which classic tokusatsu setting for action.
Well, they take them to, I have in my notes, they take them to the bone temple. It's like a pit filled with bones and skulls and shit.
It's kind of civilized to blindfold them before execution, but then they take them off again.
Yes.
Because they don't want them to know where the bone quarry is.
I just love we're basically like 15 to 20 minutes into episode 1 and already our child hero is having a rifle pointed into his face. And he's about to be executed for the 2nd time already in episode 1.
And very shortly after that, the other child gets shot with a fucking bullet.
She seems slightly older, at least, you know?
Yeah, she's 8
Girls
as
mature
opposed to
faster.
7.
Yeah.
Because they free them and they're like, hey, run. And she gets grazed by a bullet and the humans hide behind a rock. Eureka's freaking out, rightfully so, because she was just shot by a humanoid ape. And Dr. Izumi slaps her. And just as the soldiers are about to execute the humans via firing squad, a pair of vehicles pulls up, one with a loudspeaker on it. And from the speaker, a voice says that they are the local governor. They will not allow the ape soldiers to kill humans. And they rejoice because they believe that the voice coming from the car must be a human. But the voice elaborates that they will be punished. And from out of one of the vehicles emerges another ape soldier who handcuffs them and takes them to prison.
Yeah, I think he was called the regional director in right? Is that right? In the one we watched? But local, yeah.
It's all very confusing.
Right, I need to know the hierarchy.
I was just going to say, I genuinely do want to hear about the ape bureaucracy and how it's all structured.
I think you do get to learn a lot about that later on. It seems
like it. I mean, like, the last episode we watched does end with a reveal of another person up on, you know, maybe at the top of the ladder, which got me real excited. Yes. But I love,
even above that, we don't know yet.
That's right. We don't know if there's anyone above him, maybe. But when this
they're in the sky. We know that much.
Yeah.
Are they?
We'll have to find out,
could
man.
Be a third faction.
We'll have to come back and, well, I don't know if you have anyone else planned to watch more of this, but like,
is there an ape constitution?
We'll have to. Like, I'm sure it's going to get discussed.
A monkey Magna Carta?
Not in America. In America, it's more of a theocracy, I would say, based on the teachings of the lawgiver.
Mm-hmm.
Japan, because who knows?
Yeah. I mean, it's very militaristic. You know, we haven't really talked about what they're wearing, their uniforms, but it's a lot of black and armbands, colored armbands.
They do a salute that is
particular look,
quite similar to various fascist salutes that you might see.
Well, what we know about Japan at this time is that they're not allowed to have a standing army, but technically, if they're made of apes, that doesn't count. It gets around.
They do mention that at one point where I can't remember which episode, but Dr. Zumi's like, there's no soldiers in Japan, so we're fine. Like, this
is an alternate ape Earth where Yukio Monkishima actually succeeded in his coup.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Jesus. What was I gonna say? Oh, I was gonna say the local governor guy. He is so dripped out. He is absolutely my favorite ape that we've met so far. He just has like that really sick cape with like the red lining inside. I think he looks so cool. Yeah. What do we think about the ape makeup? I think it's a pretty good quality. They do like. They kind of leave of space around their eyes a little bit, probably to like let the actors emote more, but it kind of like has a nice effect on it. Like it, I don't know. They look distinctive from your kind of typical Planet of the Apes makeup from the movies.
Let me say this before you heap praise on the makeup.
Okay.
This character with the cape, I believe this is a character named Chief Gobi.
Okay.
Difficult to tell, but when you search for that name in Japanese, pictures of an action figure from the 70s that look like this character is what comes up. So I think this is Chief Gobi. He's supposed to be an orangutan.
Oh wait, no, Gobi is I thought he is the cowboy boots one. That kind of fits with the look, I think, right?
White Hat is police chief.
That's Gebar.
Okay.
Oh.
And Gobi is the one with the cape.
He's supposed to be an orangutan. Okay, well, never mind then. I might have to take all of that back.
Yeah. So Chief Gobi comes out and he calls them naked monkeys. Prior to this, Izumi posits they were frozen for thousands of years. That's why monkeys have evolved so far. But he accuses these humans of stealing the ape's words. And Dr. Izumi asks the ape what year it is, to which he replies that it is the year 621, the year of our country. And he tells the humans... Do we think
they're still using the Gregorian calendar?
Well, so Japan also uses, like, is it the imperial calendar? I can't remember the name of it, but they do have a different year that they use in certain official capacities that starts from the date, like the foundation of Japan, rather than the birth of Christ.
Got it. Okay.
So you have to assume... This I don't think it says it in these 3 episodes, but the year that they are currently in is 3714. So,
but are they counting leap years? That's what I need to know.
Yeah. Either way, he tells them that they will be put back in the capsules 2 days from now and frozen for eternity. And that's how the first episode ends. So what were you guys feeling after this first episode ended?
It's as if humans have turned into apes.
I was thinking that monkeys were becoming humans, becoming human beings. I think it was the line in our version. I thought it was like a fun setup, you know, like you got a little business with the past world. I was pretty thrilled to see them jump into ape time so quickly. I kind of figured that they would probably have to. And I don't know, it was very action focused as soon as they wake up in ape world. So it doesn't really give you time to find your bearings. So going into episode 2, I was kind of looking forward to like a little bit of slowdown and like maybe learning more about how this ape society works. That is not what happens at all. We don't really get much more of that. It's kind of more of this sort of tone, I would say. But I don't dislike it. I think it's a fun pilot. It does end in a pretty good place. The fact that, again, our characters have been, were about to be executed 3 separate times.
Yeah.
I'm just like, man, this series is not fuck around. Like, I appreciate that.
I think it's really campy. I can definitely see them enjoying this at the time. I think it's fine enough of like a launch pad for a television show that could go on for years and years. But like, I really would be fascinated to know. I mean, like you said, it ends in a certain place where it feels like it's rewarding. I suspect, but like, could they imagine this going on for a decade? Like, I want to know if they thought this could rival the episodes of MASH.
Right.
Be like an Ultraman or a Kamen Rider where there's 30 seasons of it.
What it really needed was like a central mystery hook, like in Twin Peaks, to keep you guessing every single week. which we don't really have that.
I mean, I think that all three of these do like a pretty good job of having an interesting cliffhanger at the end of each episode.
Exactly.
I was mostly joking, but no, I think I agree with that. I agree that they all kind of end in a place where you're like, well, I got to watch the fucking next one to see how they get out of this.
Yeah. So episode 2, Escape to the Wilderness, rather. The humans are in prison. Jiro's messing around. He finds the rubber snake from the first episode in his pocket. An ape guard enters to check on them and is terrified by the rubber snake. Dr. Izumi explains to the children that apes have an innate fear of snakes since they at one point lived in trees. The prison alarm sounds and the ape guard returns with a posse and they just unload their pistols on this rubber snake.
No warning to the prisoners inside the cell. They just start blasting.
They're like, literally, about to blow away this little child. Like, who are these guys? The LAPD?
This gives Dr. Izumi an idea on how to escape. She does the classic TV whisper mumble to explain her plan to the kids. And the police chief ape, Chief Geber, enters and tells Dr. Izumi that he has some good news for her. She and the children will be executed tomorrow morning.
Well, at first they were like, well, we're going to do it in 2 days. And it's just like, why are you waiting 2 days for this? They're going to be
frozen.
We're going to permanently freeze you again in 2 days. Yeah,
now it's we're going to execute you tomorrow.
Yeah, and it's good news, and he's going to do it himself. He's going to personally pull the trigger on this woman and 2 children.
Yeah, so later that afternoon, the humans begin putting their escape plan into action by constructing a fake snake using rolled up bed sheets and painting it green using some leaves that they are able to reach through the bars of their cell window.
They MacGyver the shit out of this snake.
Yes.
Hey, look, Izumi's a professor, okay? She went to school. She's a smart, capable person. So I believe this 100%.
She carries crafting supplies everywhere she goes.
Yeah. They do add a lot of detail to the snake. Like, it's not just rolled up bed sheets. Like, it's painted. It's got, like, texture.
It's believable.
You know. Yes.
Totally.
Yeah.
They're puppeting it somehow with a string.
It's like Ferris Bueller level, like when they open the door.
Maybe she like,
turns
I don't know,
over.
In college she was roommates with somebody who worked at Subaraya Productions, and he taught her all sorts of model work and puppetry, you know.
So the plan is like she plays dead. The kids cry over her body to get the guard's attention. The guard goes into the cell, sees the snake, drops his gun and the cell key, and then they run out, lock him in the cell, and they make a break for it.
This is legitimately like a moment from Metal Gear Solid, where you have to fake your own death in a cell to get a guard to come in to, like, you know, so you can get out. So I have to imagine, like, you know, a young Hideo Kojima was watching this and taking notes.
Oh, I'm sure he was.
Not taking notes, taking taking
right,
notes.
Yes, not taking notes in the weekly podcast Massacre sense, but taking notes. Yeah.
So they escape and they look on from the bushes as Chief Geber arrives on the scene and disciplines his ape soldiers using an electrified riding crop.
This is great. The ape's crossing his eyes as he's getting electrocuted with a little, like, drawn-on Emperor Palpatine lightning. I love this.
Yeah, and so the humans are running away. They're crossing a road. They're spotted by an ape soldier. He blows a whistle. He alerts the other apes. The humans run deeper into the forest and hide in some tall grass. Nice reference to the original film. And the caped monkey guy, Gobi, he arrives on the scene to reiterate to Chief Geber that the humans must be found. And they keep running away. They find themselves on a mountain. There's a suspension bridge being patrolled by a pair of ape soldiers. And the humans are able to avoid detection by hanging below the bridge and crossing the river. Also, I feel like you do something like that in Metal Gear Solid.
Metal Gear Solid 3,
yeah.
I will say it features like a suspension bridge scene like this. Yes. So I'm glad you brought it up because I was just about to.
It's all coming
honestly,
together.
Man, the fucking upper arm strength on Izumi and these kids to climb across this entire bridge like that. Like, that's some stamina, you know?
Well, I could do it as a kid. You have far less weight to support.
And that's true.
Very true.
Yeah. I think if I tried this now, I would make it like one plank, you know, and then I'm plunging into the abyss below.
Yeah, so luckily all of the ape soldiers, they just run away. to go do something else. And the humans, they come upon a house in the woods and decide to go in. Inside, they find a TV. They turn it on. The TV is tuned to a station showing a children's puppet show. For some reason,
this kid is just so in for anime.
So
like, as soon as he gets into this house, like, fucking, I gotta turn the TV on.
Gotta watch Astro Boy.
Right. And then it's this fucking, like, Mr. Rogers bullshit.
Mm-hmm. For some reason, he thinks that since they're puppets, it must be made by humans.
Yes.
It is, like, interestingly, like, a dog and, like, a bear character, you know? Like, and I'm curious if, like, they are talking dogs and bears in this world. Are those just, like, normal things to these apes? Or is it a similar thing to us where it's like, this
do
is
you
for
really
kids?
think these apes are going to be able to master puppet technology?
At this point, having a dog is kind of just like having a dinosaur. Because if you'll remember, all the cats and dogs died.
That's right. Yeah, you're totally correct.
It is also just very interesting, like, the levels of technology that they have. It makes me wonder, and I guess, Chris, you can let us know, like, I don't mind spoiling this. Are these leftover technological achievements, or has it all been wiped away and that they've rebuilt everything?
I believe that these are leftover remnants. So let's talk about how this series fits into the wider Planet of the Apes timeline.
Oh boy.
So glad you asked, Murph.
Well, I just want to know, because, like, I want to know if they're coming up with, like, caterpillar, you know, diggers and whatever, you know, like these giant moving machines, or again, just leftovers from previous civilization.
So before I started looking into this, I figured that I would have to do some, like, nerd mental gymnastics to fit Saru no Gundan into the Planet of the Apes canon. But as far as I could tell, this show fits in pretty neatly, doesn't contradict any of the Apes lore that came out before or after this. So my fact checking on this comes from the book Timeline of the Planet of the Apes, the definitive unauthorized chronology by Rich Handley, released in 2008. This thing is over 300 pages long, and about 95% of it is literally just a timeline. This event takes place on this date, etc. So there is a lot of lore that Mr. Handley is taking into account. Movies, TV series, obviously, but also like comic books, trading cards, DVD extras, promotional newspapers, anything Planet of the Apes related is included in this book.
And they want to say autism didn't exist before this time.
Yeah. This show is not included because it's not official. And actually, Tsuburaya was sued by Fox when they made this show.
Whoa.
But Tsuburaya won because it's like
parody law.
Similar concept, but different enough, legally distinct apes, basically.
Amazing. I mean, it is a completely different, like, society and structure. You know, there's no astronauts. Like, I honestly can see the argument that, like, this is just our own thing. Yeah,
so in the Planet of the Apes universe, in 1983, there's a mysterious plague that wipes out pretty much all cats and dogs. Humans and most other animals are unaffected, and the virus is brought to Earth by astronauts. That's the official story. It also could have been that Zira and Cornelius bring it back to Earth in Escape from the Planet of the Apes. October 1991.
Chinese wet markets, too.
October 1991, Caesar leads his rebellion against Ape Management Facility. That's the climax of Conquest of the Planet of the Apes. By 1992, the Ape Rebellion has spread to other parts of the world. Governments begin nuking their own countries to deal with apes. This includes China, Russia, and of course the US. The nuclear strike in Beijing knocks out all satellite communications, and that's the beginning of the end for humanity. So, this takes place, this show, Saru no Gundan, in 3714. So, if we assume that the historical events that don't involve apes occurred in the Planet of the Apes timeline in the same way they occurred in real life, we can assume that in 1992, when the global ape rebellion began, as we talked about earlier, we didn't talk about this, but Japan would not have had nuclear weapons because they would have already adopted the 3 non-nuclear principles in 1971. so they would not have nuked their own country. And it would explain why there are still remnants of human civilization in this show, like buildings, motor vehicles, because like unlike all the other countries, they didn't just nuke themselves into oblivion. We have to suspend disbelief a little bit and think that like Hondas, I mean, they're reliable, but are they reliable enough to last for 2,000 years?
I mean, it's fascinating, like a rotary phone lasting that long when my iPhone doesn't even last 4 years.
Well, that's planned obsolescence.
Right.
We used to make real products in this country.
Right.
But also like in the official Planet of the Apes timeline, there's no like specific date for when humans completely lose their ability to speak. The first Planet of the Apes takes place in 3978, so we can assume that at least in the former New York City, it happened sometime before that. But
New York City. Sorry.
The American television series takes place in 3085, and in that show, humans can still talk and are living side by side with apes. So, like I said, with this taking place in 3714, it falls between those dates. There's nothing established in lore that contradicts a talking human existing in Japan at the time. There's my answer,
find this completely satisfying. Contact this author, get an amended timeline of the Planet of the Apes printed as soon as we can, because this needs to be in there.
Yeah, it works whether or not you like, because
whether or not you want it to.
Yeah, like I'm making it work. But there's two ways to look at the timeline in Planet of the Apes, either that it's cyclical or it's like Dr. Hassline explains in Escape from the Planet of the Apes, where it's like mini lanes on a highway, basically what we call a multiverse now, thanks to the MCU.
It is a fascinating way that he has explained it in that, right? And like they do, and that's the thing, that franchise does end with them seemingly changing the cycle, right? Of like,
yeah,
they actually maybe do make a difference and affect the time. So who's to say? Maybe everything that happens in this series takes place in that new timeline, right? Or maybe it doesn't. Like, it's tough to say.
Yeah. So, Puppet Show is interrupted by an emergency bulletin in which an ape newsman reports on our 3 humans escaped from prison. Dr. Izumi picks up a newspaper lying on the floor and sees all the news stories are about apes. It is indeed the land of the apes, she says,
Hell yeah.
And she turns to the camera and winks. But just then, an ape child enters the home, and he sees the humans and runs away, but then another smaller ape child enters and is curious about the humans. And so this little ape child is a white-handed gibbon, and this is probably my favorite thing about this series so far. Not this ape child, but whenever I'm watching Planet of the Apes, I'm like, there's more than 3 types of apes.
That's right. Yeah.
Like, why are it only these 3 that are ever talked about? I was really hoping that in the reboot ones, they would finally have something like a baboon. Nope, just chimps, orangutans, and gorillas, and bonobos.
Yeah, I mean, they.
I was going to say bonobos, I know.
They are the great apes, right? Chimps, gorillas, and orangutans. But yes, a gibbon is the only kind of lesser ape that exists. But just because he's a lesser ape doesn't mean he doesn't deserve sentience, you know? So I like this too. I kind of thought that was the case with him, with the white face. I was like, that is kind of gibbon-like. So I really hope that is what they were going for. But it seems like it is. So that, it makes me happy as well.
There's also...
Are they segregated? Like, I just feel like there's going to be a lot of, like...
Yeah. I mean, so that brings up another question. It's like, in the originals, like, basically it's like racially based duties in society, I guess. Like, your job is based on your race. This introducing new races of apes, intelligent apes, does beg that question of, like, well, what do the white-handed gibbons have to do? What do the mandrills have to do?
Is there like a Jim Gorilla law on the books?
Jesus Christ.
But yeah, the little ape child that runs away, he's alerted the villagers, and so the humans have to run away and escape out the back door because there's an angry mob of apes catching up to them, chasing them into the forest. The ape mob is about to seize the humans, but they abruptly stop chasing the humans and run away upon seeing a series of stone carvings at the foot of the so-called Green Mountain. Chief Gobi receives a call that the 3 humans have entered the Green Mountain, and Chief Gebar wants to take a group of his apes to go and capture them, but Chief Gobi calls, I guess, the National Army to come assist.
Again, I love this hierarchy stuff going on, you know. And just we have a rogue ape in Chief Gobar to like I don't know, supersede command and take charge on his own. Like I don't know. We also have just been hinting that he's got some kind of personal like
it seems like his
against humans.
Wife and child have been killed.
But I found I found it particularly effective as motivation for his character, and like an effective like planting of like a little mystery seed, you know, to be like, why does he like hate humans so much? That was something that did keep my interest as I was watching this. Like, well, I got to find out more of his backstory. I got to find out what happened with him and the humans.
So the humans are crying in the woods, wondering if there are any other humans left, and the ape soldiers arrive. And as the humans trek further up to the mountain, they run into a series of survivalist traps, which culminate in Eureka being caught in a net. Jiro goes to cut her down, but when he does, the humans are met by the barrel of an assault rifle, held in what appears to be a pair of human hands.
Great ending.
Really awesome ending. I love this. I have a quote written down. I don't remember who says this. Maybe it's the many and endless struggles of monkeys. It's the narrator, right? Doesn't the narrator say that?
I think I skipped over the parts in between the episodes where they're like next week on.
Oh yeah, because it does immediately give away like who this mysterious figure with an assault rifle is.
Yeah,
it like immediately cuts to like a guy, you know, another adult human male. But like, yeah, I'm pretty sure the narrator says something about the many and endless struggles of monkeys, which is a quote I will have carved into my tombstone.
Yeah, it's good shit. I'm on board still. And
I'm still just thinking more about, you know, the political structure of these monkeys. Like, is there a Treaty of Versailles for these apes?
Oh, that's this thing. I mean, if we're going with Chris's, like, you know, idea of where this fits in the timeline, I mean, France probably doesn't exist anymore. It was probably nuked into oblivion.
Right, but it's got to be built off of it. You know, so like these ideas.
Let me tell you what the state of Europe is in Planet of the Apes lore. So basically, all humans in Europe died. So
good.
All of the problems that exist, like they just live in harmony and just hang out in Europe as an ape society.
Hell yeah.
It's interesting that like, because
they got universal healthcare still.
Assumedly.
Right.
And they also
great
like,
transit trains everywhere.
They likewise did not nuke themselves, so because the humans were dying there. So they have remnants of human civilization, and they are not like the New York City apes where they have come up with this like fake mythology about how they came to be. They're just like, yeah, humans used to be here, but they all fucking died, so whatever.
And no underground irradiated brain mutants since the news dropped. Yeah.
They still got berets and they're doing the can.
Carrying around grocery bags of celery and a baguette.
Big baguette. Little Italian apes on Vespas.
Gondolas even. So that brings us to the third and final episode for this evening. Episode 3, The Dangerous Mountain Calls. So yes, the gun being pointed at them is being pointed by a human, a man named Godo. He explains that all of the humans who used to live on the mountain died from either disease or fighting the apes. He's the last one left on this mountain.
He's got a great beard here. It's a really good look for him.
Yeah, that's one. It's a lot like the trial of the Incredible Hulk. Everything comes back to that, but it is also like in the first Planet of the Apes, where it's like, since it was the 70s and like facial hair was like counterculture, I guess, or whatever. It's like they all of these 3 characters, David Banner, Taylor, and Godo, all look way sweeter with their facial hair, but it's like socially unacceptable for them to have it. So there has to be some scene of them shaving.
So what a backwards time.
Right. Coming back into society.
Yeah. The ape soldiers are in pursuit, but suddenly black clouds momentarily block out the sun before rapidly receding. This frightens the ape, and a local ape shaman, who is a mandrill, says that this is an omen that something bad is about to happen because of the naked monkey's defilement of the mountain.
There's a lot of great lines here.
He's like, it's an omen for mackerel.
Salt and mackerel and mackerel.
Omen of,
mackerel.
Omen of salt, mackerel, and mackerel for everyone. Before that, though, I love that the regional governor, whoever he is, the Red Cape ape, he gets a call from the Minister of Provincial Government, and he says, yes, I understand. When naked monkeys join together with Godo, they gain new powers. Mm-hmm. Which, oh boy, this episode 3 has the best dialogue, I think, of these so far. It's just like banger and bang, after banger. Like that, the omen of salt, mackerel, and mackerel. And then it's the prime minister to close it out. Like, oh boy, this is good stuff.
Well, he really speaks with his fist.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, Chief Gebar asks Chief Gobi for permission to breach the perimeter fence in order to pursue the humans. Gobi says that it's forbidden by the central government, but Gebar intends to do it anyway. Godo takes Jiro, Dr. Izumi, and Eureka to his cave home, tells them that his parents died long ago from illness. Dr. Izumi again asks Godo if there are any humans left, and he just flatly says no.
It's kind of sad that measles has come back in such a manner, because they didn't really need to die.
No. they were just anti-vax. They could have easily survived.
They were drinking raw milk on the mountain.
Raw beef and raw milk.
The ape soldiers, led by Chief Gebar, are ascending the mountains. One of the soldiers is killed in one of Godo's traps.
This is great.
The soldier tells Chief Gebar that they need to turn back, but the chief whispers a secret plan in the soldier's ear. The little ape boy from the previous episode overhears and runs away, and as he does, we see a fucking flying saucer soaring through the sky.
That is literally how I have it down in my notes. A fucking flying saucer flies overhead. Yeah.
I missed that the first time. It obviously comes in at the end, and that's when I really took notice, but I guess to give that away earlier on. Yeah. So is it like a drone, or is this a real
We don't know until we watch the next episodes. But yeah, I likewise, the first time I watched this, missed that. Because it is a blink and you miss it. So at the end, when it shows up, I was like, what the fuck is going on? And so the humans are enjoying some food in Godo's cave when the little ape child runs in. His name is Pepe.
Well, they're really enjoying the food, too. Like, it's a whole bit about sweet French fries or something.
Don't they say pickled sweet potatoes? I think
that's what it is.
Yeah.
And they're like, I don't know. It looks like they're eating natto, like fermented soybeans on top of like some weird dough. Doesn't really look or sound.
Okay, they haven't eaten in 1,000 years. Okay, so I bet anything
true.
Is good to them at this moment.
It's a lot of business, though.
Mm-hmm.
So Pepe, little ape child, he tells Godo that the ape soldiers are planning to set the mountain on fire. We learn that one day Pepe was playing on the mountain. And when his mother came to look for him, she was caught in one of Godo's traps, and Godo released her from the trap. And ever since then, Godo and Pepe have been friends.
Godo showed Pepe love.
Right. Mm-hmm. He's the one that actually gave him his sombrero.
Fucking Pepe. What a great name.
Very Gibbon child.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Ape soldiers, they begin setting fire to the mountain. Godo shows up to stop them. Luckily, the ape soldiers are worse at shooting than stormtroopers, and Godo's able to kill a few of them and escape unscathed. He goes back to the cave to rescue Jiro, Eureka, Pepe, and Dr. Izumi, and when he arrives, he has to enter the flaming forest to heroically get Pepe out of the fire.
I know I shouldn't have been surprised because I do know that in general, Japanese TV was weirdly lax with violence. And you see that reflected in the Godzilla movies when Godzilla starts bleeding profusely suddenly, and in the weirdly more kid-friendly films. But I was still kind of whoa, they're just showing Godo straight up shoot apes in the chest and having them fall back dead. That kind of just still kind of took me aback for a moment. I'm like, whoa, okay, well, I guess we're straight up going. I mean, a child got shot in episode 1, so maybe I shouldn't be. Again, I shouldn't have been surprised. But I was still oh wow, that just kind of feels like something that you wouldn't see in a show in the 70s in America, you know?
Yeah, I mean, to think about
Right, you just see a girl in Daisy Dukes and her tits out.
Yeah. But even like the A-Team, right? The A-Team, it was just like guys falling out of towers or whatever. Or I don't think they actually ended up really shooting at anybody ever on the A-Team. They got shot at, but I don't think they ever killed people, probably.
I'm thinking
right?
Land of the Lost is kind of the closest American analog to this. And it's just like imagining like one of the kids getting shot by a sleaze or whatever the fuck they're called. Would never happen. The lead, our characters, they're confronted by ape soldiers. Godo, this is when we learn he's an expert in martial arts.
Hell yeah.
He beats the hell out of them. But unfortunately, he was too distracted to notice that while he was doing that, some other ape soldiers were off to the side capturing the other humans.
They do something here that I don't think any other ape movie has done until the Tim Burton one, but the apes have like super agility. They're able to like leap around, right? And like jump super high, which I really liked. I'm like, oh yeah, they're apes. They should be able like more nimble than humans. They don't ever really, in the other movies, like I think the most physical they ever really get is like Roddy McDowell, like running with an assault rifle in Conquest, probably.
Yeah,
right?
really, it's like, yes, gorillas are stronger than humans,
yes.
But other than that, it's just like they're kind of just like chimps and orangutans. They're basically just furry humans.
Right, exactly.
There is one thing in the first episode after they see the scientists or apes in the lab coats or whatever, the way that they're running down the hallway is kind of like an ape bobbing up and down.
Yeah, they
and then they drop it almost immediately. You never really see that type of movement again.
Well, they stand perfectly upright because they're like military apes, when they're like in formation and have to like salute, do their salutes and like stand tall, all that. Yeah.
They just finished Heartbreak Ridge. Is that the
Clint Eastwood movie?
Clint Eastwood movie, right?
Yeah, they all got derogatory nicknames that have slurs in them,
right? As
per that film.
You have the monkey G.I. Jane with the monkey Viggo Mortensen.
She shaves her head. Yeah.
Chief Gebar shows up.
It was a G.I. Jane joke. Jeez.
He's about to execute Godo, but Chief Gobi arrives on the scene and orders him to stop.
He does ask him, what do you want on your tombstone? And he replies, pepperoni, sausage, onions.
By my count, is this the fourth or maybe even like the fifth time where just we have these characters about to be shot and then last minute a new character is introduced to stop them?
I mean, it's even more bizarre is like they line him up like they're going to do the firing squad and then they just start throwing rocks kind of in the general vicinity.
Yeah, this is real strange.
Like I thought they were like, oh, we're going to try to cause an avalanche or whatever. And then they're just hitting him randomly. And then they pull out their guns to try and shoot him.
Yeah. So Gobi's like, yeah, you can't execute them. Central government says no. But this is when Chief Gebar, he jumps up on a rock and he begins preaching to the crowd, like the angry villagers. He works them into a lather and they start, I don't know what they were going for. At first I was like, oh shit, they're about to stone him to death.
Yeah.
But
it's brutal.
They're throwing it like in his general direction as if they're like zeroing in on where he is. It's very strange.
I guess just to create some anticipation for him of like, oh, the rocks are getting closer, like to put fear in his heart, maybe. I don't know. But I do find the chief's like big speech to be really interesting because he's like, the central government is all about appearance. And he's like, I'm going to do what I please. And is essentially, I guess, spouting anti-ape government like sentiment, right? Like,
right. He's trying to do an ape January 6th.
Yes, like, pretty much. Yeah.
Well, yeah. So he convinces the villagers that they should kill them by being like, these humans set fire to your sacred mountain. It's a fucking ape false flag.
Stop the steal. Stop the steal.
But luckily Pepe is there. He speaks up and tells everyone that Chief Gebar is lying. And Chief Gobi tries to protect the humans, but that's when we get this weird execution thing. Right as Godo's about to meet his death at the end of a firing squad, a motorcade of apes arrives on scene. Among them is a gorilla, Minister of Security VIP. He orders the soldiers to release Godo, backhands Chief Gebar, and punches Godo in the face.
This is really amazing.
Yeah. Since you guys like the political intrigue, this guy's description on Japanese Wikipedia is that he is the Minister of Security, but he's the de facto leader of the government.
Okay.
So very complex shit going on here.
I thought it was Prime Minister in the
That is
subtitles.
In the subtitles, that's what it says. But when you like look up information about characters, it's like he's actually the Minister of Security, de facto leader of the government.
He's like the ape shogun, where like in the the Edo period of Japan, the shogun wasn't technically like the leader of the country, but he was the leader of the country because he controlled the military and all the armed forces. So that's interesting. Okay. See, I knew Year of the Samurai would pay off eventually. It would lead me to kind of maybe a more general understanding of Saru no Gundan.
A more nuanced view of the world, you could say.
Exactly. But I love it. He's got an incredible look. I would never guess he was a gorilla. Again, maybe another strike against the makeup now that I actually look at it.
Because he's not bulky. He is very tall. Like
yes. But he's got...
Well, they still have a big supply of Ozempic.
Yeah. But he has a pristine white uniform. And yes, the fact that he comes in and immediately starts throwing hands is so fucking great. His like backhanded slap and then just like a haymaker to Goto's face. It's awesome. And Goto's like, he tries running up on him. It just feels like a WWE like entrance or something.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, that's the Prime Minister's theme song. And he comes out and he starts like beating the shit out of everybody on
He's
screen.
He's got the Vince McMahon walk.
Yes.
You know?
And it's like, I mean, like it's WWE or an anime too. Cause like the way he's like holding Jiro by the fucking throat, like picking him up with one hand. And, you know, it's just, it does feel like in Dragon Ball Z, like a powerful new character was just introduced. You know, whose power level is far beyond.
Like Cell just came, fucked up Frieza immediately.
100%.
Well, I was thinking like Vegeta holding like Gohan or something, you know, as he's really small.
That's what it feels like. It's great. I mean, and it did really, when I was like, oh, this is the end of the third episode, this is where we're stopping, I was like, are you kidding me? Just where this really took off, you know, and like started going up a whole nother level for me.
Yeah, because
should we do commentary for episode 4 starting now? Just hit play.
We'll hit play right now, 2 hours into the record.
I'm surprised no one's ever thought of this, but maybe we could do like a box set type thing. You would think that other podcasts would have thought about that, but no one's ever done it before. It seems a little
too original.
I think I'm going to trademark that right now.
Copyright.
Write a letter to myself.
Yep.
Yeah.
But the actual end of this episode, as we alluded to before, is that the fucking flying saucer shows up again. That's
what
the
a
end.
Cliffhanger, man. Yeah.
Saru no Gundan, what do you guys think?
I'm thinking that I am blessed because there's 10 more hours of this for me to watch at some point. It's not a perfect show. I mean, there's a lot of flaws, right? I would say. But I had a great time with it, even though I was also, when I was watching this, extremely sleepy and repeatedly fell asleep and had to rewind it like this and rewatch the same like last 20 minutes of this over and over because I kept going in and out.
Mm-hmm.
Even with that, I was still very entertained and pleased with this. It is like really insane pacing, I would say. Like the entire show after they make it to the future is a big chase scene. With very few moments of it slowing down. So it is a little like chaotic and like you kind of feel like you can't get your bearings very much.
It's like a Mad Max Fury Road, but with apes.
That's a great way to put it. And also, that should be the next Apes movie if Disney has any kind of sense. It should just be that exactly.
They don't. It'll just be another inoffensively bland movie about monkeys.
Exactly. It'll be like a de facto soft reboot of another movie in the series. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They're just going to bring in Mandalorian and Grogu. We all know it.
Oh, gosh. Hey, they had the sense of the Mandalorian to cast Werner Herzog as like an Imperial official. Let's slap some ape makeup on Werner Herzog. It doesn't matter that it's all CG now. Have him be the one ape in makeup surrounded by CG apes.
I would love that.
I would like to see the monkey.
There you go.
I would like to see the Pepe.
he cried when he first saw Pepe. It was just so beautiful to him. No, but I was having a really good time with this. Like, it's crazy enough. It's not like, whoa, bad shit insane. It is just kind of like, I don't know, some standard sort of chase scenes, some fun ape makeup, and then like once an episode, a kind of really insane wild swing,
Yeah.
Episode 1, I don't know what it was, but just the fact that like the chief getting such a great entrance, like showing the cowboy boots with the spurs and then his full costume, I'm just like, that just rocks. That blew me away. And then episode 3, the prime minister's entrance, like those things, I'm just like, okay, parts of this were absolutely made for me and me alone,
Yeah.
Oh, I totally got that when I was watching. Like, Greg's gonna love this.
I loved it. I mean, it's like, I don't know. It is such like there's so much of it though that is just like the chase aspect that does get a little old pretty quickly. And like I mentioned too, it's like 4 or 5 times, at least once an episode, sometimes twice, our characters are held at gunpoint and then saved last second when a new character is introduced to say another level of ape government is revealed, to say, wait, let's not execute them just yet for some reason. It's like, even in these episodes, it felt pretty repetitive. But again, the end of episode 3 really ratcheted things up. We even get some cool, like, weird slow motion when, like, Goto, like, runs up on the prime minister. Like,
and the fire thing as well, I feel like.
The fire thing was cool. That was a great action shot, him running in front of the fire. Like, that looked like a shot from, like, that reminded me like Jesse Ventura and Predator, like, walking in front of an explosion with a minigun. It's, like, the same kind of vibe, Except it's Goto carrying Pepe.
I thought it was very enjoyable. I am more interested in getting into the further levels of government, like Greg was saying. I want to get to the, ape Illuminati. I want to get to the apes that are, harvesting adrenochrome from children.
Jeffrey
I want to get into that kind of stuff. Like the Eyes Wide Shut-esque parties that are going on in this world. They are taking advantage of the downtrodden, the poor, the weak, the children.
Maybe that's what white-handed gibbons are in this. They're just sex slaves.
Oh, man.
I would not doubt it, yeah. I am intrigued to finish this. Like, you saying that it ends on, like, a satisfying note is very intriguing for me, because I see 26 episodes, and it does make me question, like, how are they going to draw this out enough, but then also end in a land the ending, I guess. And it's very bizarre, and I'm there for it. I'm not usually a big, like, Japanese cinema media watcher, but I'm fascinated enough. I'm going to check it out. I am going to check out the rest of the Planet of the Apes movies. Like, you guys have really inspired me to get through those.
Yeah.
Great.
Make sure you watch, like, the theatrical or the original ending of Conquest. You have to make sure you're watching the correct version for that. The one that adds the violence back in, basically.
Sure. Okay.
It is the superior ending. It doesn't make sense with the next movie that comes, but you just have to be like, oh, well, this is a branching timeline where Caesar went the opposite direction of what he just said.
Again, it's not as insane of a retcon as Beneath to Escape, so I there's no other good place to bring this up. But do you know about, like, the canceled Planet of the Apes movie in the 90s that was going to star Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Maybe. It sounds vaguely familiar.
I feel like there was a big, like, uncovering of, like, maybe like an original script or something at that time, and concept art and things like this. But it sounds like it eventually is what became the 2001 Tim Burton movie, which I think is also how they got to Mark Wahlberg of, like, oh, we need somebody kind of cool and actiony like Schwarzenegger. There's like a weird line of logic that sort of makes sense going from Arnold to Wahlberg. But I do remember.
Have you hit your head recently?
I'm just saying, I'm not saying I agree with it. I'm not saying that they're equivalent at all, but I can see studio exec brain, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, conflating the two in some weird way.
They hit their head recently.
Yes, exactly. When they went down to take a snort of cocaine and missed.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say as
well. But no, I do remember the big thing about this 90s one, though, was there was going to be a scene. It was going to be like a more, like, Roman like inspired ape society with like a coliseum and like apes in armor and stuff like that.
Caesar's Legion, yeah.
Exactly. But I do remember there was a scene described where the apes get together to play ape baseball. And like there's like concept art, I'll see if I can find it, of like an ape in a baseball uniform.
Mm-hmm.
And I just hope, I mean, I know hey, Japan loves baseball too.
That's what I was about to say. There's a good chance they play baseball in this show.
Yes, I was going to say, maybe it does happen in Saru no Gundan. I'll have to, I won't hold my breath.
Do you think they still have the
hoping.
controversy and then make the movie Ape Men Out?
I'm sure. What do you think is the movie MVP, Most Valuable Primate? Like, oh no, wait, no. What's the baseball monkey movie I'm thinking of?
Isn't it like Ed?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Do you think it was like an ape sitcom star with a human playing baseball?
It's still Matt LeBlanc. Yeah,
yeah.
as the the one who's everyone's shocked to see playing baseball. Yeah.
There's no rule that Matt LeBlanc can't play baseball.
That's right.
No, MVP, of course, is Most Valuable Primate. He's snowboarding?
That's MXP.
Oh, that's, God damn it.
Speaking of original ideas that haven't been done, we should cover that for a podcast.
Sure. Absolutely. Let's do it. It'll be the first one. I mean, we'll make bank because the first ones that ever do it.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I thought this show, like, I'm always on board for more Planet of the Apes content as long as it's not made by Disney. That's the one caveat. Like I said earlier, like it's just, I can't say that like the beginning and middle of each episode was really that amazing, but they fucking nail the cliffhangers in this show. It just makes me want to know what's going to happen next. Why are there flying saucers?
Right.
What's going on?
It's basically 24 before 24.
Yeah, what's going on with their extremely complicated political situation that they've only just vaguely alluded to? Why are there cars? Am I right about why there's cars? Are there other humans?
Why is there a press corps?
Yeah. How is this going to wrap up? I'm very interested to see. So, thumbs up from me. Saru no Gundan, Army of Apes. And yeah, I mean, is any parting thoughts, or we pretty much cover it?
No, I mean, I guess like it made me hungry for, I don't know. I do think the reboot movies, they really do a great job with the CG and the motion capture. It looks absolutely incredible. But nothing beats the magic of just a person in this very distinctive ape makeup. And even though it's different for Saru no Gundan, but it still scratched that same itch. I want another TV series with actors in ape makeup, and it could be them doing anything. It could just be like an All in the Family style sitcom, of like them moving into a neighborhood and living their lives and doing whatever. But no, I guess that's my parting thought. I did think about that a lot during this, of just like, I really miss great practical makeup on people, there's a certain magic to it. And it kind of makes sense that this is made by Tsuburaya Productions, and like there is something a little tokusatsu about this, of these actors wearing this makeup, even though not like it's very different than somebody in a Godzilla suit, but somehow the same basic principle still applies, and this weirdly scratched that kind of itch for me. Even beyond like the model work and like the miniatures that they use, this did just kind of have that sort of feeling. So, I mean, I want more Apes content too. I can't wait to watch the rest of this. I'm so happy to have learned this was a thing, and then also to have it be as enjoyable as it is, like the certain moments that just kind of really made it all worth it.
Yeah.
I'm very happy with this.
Well, you're in luck, because according to Timeline of the Planet of the Apes, the book, there's a shit ton of apes content out there.
Hell yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I guess that's episode 1 through 3 of Saru no Gundan. Thank you guys for coming on and breathing life into this dead format with me. Tell the fine folks out there where they can find you and anything you've got in the works.
Okay, so we're going to be in Maniac March 2, The Legend of Spinell's Gold. We'll be, come by, check us out. We are the Weekly Podcast Massacre. We have email weeklypodcastmassacre@gmail.com, both Threads, Instagram, Blue Sky @Weekly Massacre. Greg is G Anderson 19 on Letterboxd, hired_goons 17 on Twitch, and GregoryAnderson.substack.com.
Yeah.
Finally got that one right.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
I am Murph and Turf both on Blue Sky and Letterboxd, so please hit us up. Let us know if you have stolen the language of words, if you take your toy snake with you everywhere you go, or if you think a cloudy day is an omen for mackerel. We want to hear from you. And until next time, it's as if humans have turned into podcasters.
Godo showed Pepe podcasts. Oh, also, I had to look it up. This canceled 90s Schwarzenegger ape movie was going to be directed by Oliver Stone.
Just like...
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Wow.
Fucking, I mean, I can only imagine after leaving the set of, like, Natural Born Killers, like, that's a real energy to make a Planet of the Apes movie.
He could do it if he just channels
he
the
would have
hand
had
with Michael
Rodney
Caine.
Dangerfield dressed as an ape.
I tell you. I would have fucking lost my shit.
Don't get no bananas at all. Like bananas are a replacement for
respect,
fucking
right?
Respect,
yeah. That's what Donkey Kong considers it, right?
Oh, Donkey Kong yanking on his tie. Oh my god.
Oh man.
Like Dangerfield.
Copyright.
Why have I never considered this?
Parody law.
The podcast army, what will you do? What will you do? That's my sign off. So on behalf of Murph and Greg, I'm Chris. This has been another episode of Dead Formats. See you later.
Bye.
Sayonara.